Hello and welcome to Plum Blossoms with Marker. We're going to be taking a look at this classic art form with markers today instead of paints. So if you have markers, let's talk about them. If you can get a brush tip marker, that's ideal. It looks like this. These are the kind of lines you can make with it. It is actually shaped just like a traditional Chinese brush tip. So it's great for writing Chinese characters or painting with. And you can actually find Sharpies that are brush tip too sometimes. So if you can find a brush tip Sharpie, by all means use that. Here's what it looks like. Next we have the fine tip, and it's great for this project, but you will need to learn to use the side of the marker tip to get these thick lines, as well as the point to get those fine lines. But it's a very useful tool for this project. You can even write Chinese characters with it. So, fine tip is fine. And then last is the chisel tip. The chisel tip is a great one to use. You don't even have to do anything special to get it to make those big lines. So it's perfect for this. You can write in characters with it, but your characters have to be much bigger than other markers, or else you won't be able to see the details on them. So there we go. If you have any of these markers, hopefully you can find yourself a black and a red, and we'll be good to go. You'll also need some sort of cardstock. It works better for marker, and some sort of scrap paper to test out some of your ideas on. So go ahead and collect your materials, pause the video, and meet me back here when you've got your stuff. Alright, if you've got everything, let's take a look at the Meihua flower. This is a traditional Chinese design using 5 circles. You don't have to be exact. There's also a circle in the middle and dots around that circle with lines to them. And that's the interior of the flower. So to make this, the petals of this flower, you just do 5 circles. And I'm showing you here with paint, but you can do the same idea with markers, and we're going to try that in just a second. But see how I make my flower's petals first. Then I'm going to come back to the middle and add some details. So the first detail I'm going to add is the black circle at the middle. And yours might have a white space in the middle, or it might not. Then I'm going to make these dots with a line that leads to the middle. My first ones don't look too good. They look kind of like black Cheetos or something, but I actually want them to look more like nails. So here they are. The last few look pretty good. There we go. Now, of course, we do want our black branches on the plum tree to have a knobby, kind of Cheeto-y type of texture. So those are 2 different textures we'll have in our pictures today. So now let's look at the plum tree where these blossoms are growing. Let's get out our scrap piece of paper. Let's try testing our markers first. This one's a little dry. I'm going to use the side, and I can still draw with it. In fact, I can get some pretty cool textures out of a marker that is drying, so don't let that stop you from creating. And let's test out my red. Red looks good, so I'm going to do my 5 circles right close to each other. I've got my flower, and I'm going to add the details with the black marker, that circle in the middle and those dots with the lines. There we go. So I've got a little plum blossom there. Let's try the chisel tip marker. Ooh, that's very nice. Gonna give my tree a very gnarled, bumpy, rough skin or bark. Add these blossoms on there, see how they look together. So the blossoms, they grow on the tree branch, and in the springtime they will burst out all over the branches. So you can put a lot on there, and you'll notice I left some empty spaces for my flowers to go. I'll explain that more in just a second. I add my details with black last. Now let's get started on our bigger piece of paper, our cardstock. We're going to start with a tree shape that is kind of gnarly looking, And I want you to leave some gaps or empty spaces between some of the branches. If you see what I mean here, we're going to leave some empty spaces for our flowers to go. When you add your small branches, remember your big branches are at the trunk of the tree, and as you get farther from the trunk, the branches get smaller. When you add your branches, be sure to use long branches, short branches, and medium branches, so you have some variation there. Alright, I'm adding some more details, giving my tree that kind of Cheeto-y, bumpy look. There we go. I don't want it to just look smooth. Alright, now I'm ready for my blossoms, so I'm going to start by making my 5 circles wherever there is a gap. So there's a flower growing on the other side of the tree there. There's one growing on this branch. On this branch. There's one growing behind it. And some little buds will grow on the ends of my branches. The little buds are the flowers that haven't bloomed yet. They're still closed up, but they're going to open up soon. You can add as many as you want, or as few as you want. This is your tree. You decide. Sometimes I'll make them go behind the tree by leaving space. Sometimes I'll make them go in front of the tree. This one's in front. You can see it real good. This one's behind. There's a little one. Some buds. And my tree is going to be growing off of the page here, so you don't see the whole tree, just a little bit of it. Alright, now I'm ready to get my black fine tip marker. If you've got a black fine tip, and try and add those small details in the center of the flower. Hopefully you've got some nice music to listen to while you're working on this. I'll put a few links to my recommendations on the Canvas page. So this might take you a little while, adding all the interior details of the flower, but it is important for completing the look of the picture. And also, the flowers need those parts so that they can make more flowers. You'll learn about that in science class. Alright. And on the little buds, I'm also going to add a little stick at the bottom that is like its stem, connecting it to the tree branch. It's hard to see with my hand in the way. Here we go. There's some stems on those buds. There we go. Alright, now last I'm going to write the Chinese characters for Mei Hua, which is the Chinese word for the plum blossom. And if you want to skip this step, you can, but to give it that authentic look, normally the artist will leave some sort of written words on the page, and their name stamp, which is that red part right there. If you don't have a name stamp, it's okay. We're just going to learn to draw it. You can stop this video, rewind it, and replay it as many times as you need to, or you can just look at the example I have on the screen there. Mei Hua. Alright, so the name stamp was normally a stamp that an artist would have made with their name in it, engraved in it. But if you don't have a stamp of your name in Chinese, we're just going to draw a red rectangle with our red marker, write our name on the inside of the rectangle, and then close the bottom of the rectangle. There we go. So I write my name in there first before I close the rectangle to make sure my name will fit in there. There we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed that lesson. Oh, there's a little piece right there. Got him. All right. I hope you got something that you're proud of, and I can't wait to see what you make. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next video.